Okay, so a deeper meaning behind our evolution as spiritual beings. Since the dawn of time, we've been trying to reach a higher vibrational state. And there's been phases within how the human mind thinks. And there's been an evolution of that. And right now, I know a lot of people are feeling pain, feeling a lot of hurt and a lot of trauma. And that's been one of these phases that has been happening for some time. And we are moving out of that phase because we are ultimately moving to a higher vibration and becoming spiritual beings. More and more becoming spiritual beings. We're reaching the vibration of our full spiritual potential. And yeah, I think examples of these phases, you could go back to us moving from monkey form and becoming hominids, and a phase tied to that, like a phase of thinking tied to that, could be as a collective. Like, these phases are a collective thing in the human unconscious. No, the human conscious. Yeah, so a phase for early man could be thinking thoughts of how to explore this new body. You know, there's these questions in the psyche which are ultimately moving us forward. So questions of, what else could I do with this physical body? If you think about early man, what else could I do? How can I experience this body in different ways? So there's constantly that vibration of thought, which is moving us forward. And throughout history, these phases, these cycles have changed, and it's constantly moving us on to a fuller realization of ourselves. And yeah, right now we're moving out of another 1,000-year cycle. Like, it's usually these 1,000-year cycles where there's a process of that evolution taking place, and then the cycle ends and it changes, and it moves into a next phase. So for about the past 1,000 years, there's been this process of a lot of pain, a lot of trauma, and bloodshed, and loss. And there's been questions within the human psyche, which is, how can we go beyond this? How can we move beyond this pain? And those questions are what is moving us in to a more spiritual, human phase. And yeah, we are moving into this next phase. We're moving out of the pain and that trauma. And I think the next phase is a greater understanding of the magic that we hold as human beings, the gifts we have, being able to tap into our bodies and use them as instruments for change. Instruments for a higher purpose, and instruments that have a relationship with the natural world, with each other, and being really able to tap in to our magical powers, the magical powers we have as humans. We are so much more than what we think we are. And, throughout the history of time, there's been very few people that would hold that knowledge that we are more, and holding the knowledge of the greater picture. And those people would be the shamans, the seers, the wise men. So all cultures have had these people that can see that there's something deeper about this mystery of life and this mystery of our human bodies. Our bodies, our psyche, our emotions, all of it, our humanness. There's a deeper meaning to that. There's a deeper use of our human existence on this planet. There's a deeper meaning to our relationship with the natural world. So yeah, we are moving out of a cycle. We're moving into a next step in evolution. It's a very poignant time right now, and there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of upheaval within society and on a planetary level. The planet is changing dramatically, and we do have an effect on that. We are part of that dramatic change. And this stuff has been prophesized by many people, many wise men, that mainly the weather is going to change dramatically. The world is heating up right now. It is burning up, and it's a lot to do with topsoil erosion. We're desertifying. We're deserting the planet. We're turning the planet into a desert with mass agriculture, mass non-organic agriculture. We're clearing trees and we're using pesticides and weed killers so the soil is lacking organic matter. And at such a fast pace, the whole world is just becoming these fields of just dry dirt. So that's what I mean with it becoming a desert. We're turning the world into a desert. There's not enough photosynthesis to hold moisture. So this is part of the process, because there's prophecies of the cleansing of fire. So throughout time, there's been many cataclysms that have shaped our planet and have shaped life on this planet. And they're a part of the evolution, and it's what's going to make us as human beings realize what we should be doing. We're not going to reach that conclusion on our own. You know, we're playing a role in it, but at the end of the day, nature's going to do what nature needs to do. And what nature needs to do right now is wipe the slate clean and start over. You know, there's a lot of people fighting for saving the planet and fighting to protect the human race from cataclysm. But it's fleeting attempts. It's never really gonna do anything. It's not gonna be powerful enough change to do anything. And nature, Mother Earth, is the power that's gonna set the record straight. So the cleansing of fire, that's what we're moving into. And they say that the earth would be too hot to walk on for at least 5 years. And this is happening within the next 20 to 30 years. You know, if you're young like me, that's in our lifetime. And I don't think there's much we can do about it. But remember that we're infinite beings. And this is just part of the process. And life goes on. Our bodies may die, but our energy goes on. And ultimately, life is moving to a higher vibration, which is good. It's a good thing. And they say that once this cleansing of fire comes, humanity will survive. There will be people that survive. And they say the people that will come afterwards will be the warriors of the rainbow. And they will rewild the earth. The earth will return to its wild form. And we would have learnt from our previous mistakes of stripping away all the trees, stripping away the rainforests, and having big arid open spaces. We would have learnt from that, and we will rewild the earth, and we will come more into the realization of who we are as humans. So the processes are on a parallel because they're interconnected. They're interwoven. The process of our human evolution into a higher spiritual vibration is on a parallel with nature, Mother Earth resetting herself and moving to a higher vibration. Because yes, we are separate. Mother Nature has her process, has her things she needs to do, and we have our process and our things we need to do. But ultimately, we are interconnected. We are interwoven with nature. And there has been civilizations throughout history and maybe even prehistory, many years ago, times that weren't even recorded, and we understood this connection to nature and connection to our powers as human beings and our magic. So yeah, we will move into, you could view it as this utopian vision. The Warriors of the Rainbow, and a deeper understanding of our human potential, a higher vibration of human existence, because a high vibration of human existence is dependent on a high vibrational planet and lots of trees and diversity of life. That's high vibration, and we need that symbiotic relationship to reach our full potential as humans. And remember the mysteries of what we're here to do. It's such a great mystery, but it's resurfacing. We're remembering that mystery of how to work with this planet and each other in such a deep, harmonious way. And it's almost so beautifully unfathomable. But these ancient structures throughout the world are part of that mystery. And if you're someone who has heard of, the new ideas that are emerging around these sacred sites and structures, then you'll probably understand where I'm coming from with that. And it's still a great mystery, but these people many years ago, and I believe that, these civilizations, they existed much longer time ago than what history says. And these these ancient humans, this ancient civilization, they knew something. Or maybe it was aliens. Maybe it was aliens. Maybe it was Anunnaki. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we will know. Maybe we'll find out. So that's going to wrap it up. See you in the next one.